Hi everyone, and welcome to CyberSecurity Job. So this video is to help some of us who didn't start off with cybersecurity, have no background in cybersecurity, but really want to get into this industry and are wondering how to do it. And due to time constraints, we don't have the luxury of going to school again, and we're wondering how do we get into that. So sometimes when we are talking about cybersecurity with no experience, it almost seems like there's a ceiling blocking us from entering that industry. We hear a lot about the requirements, the certifications, but just a little background for myself. I didn't go through the conventional way, and so I do want to encourage you and do want to just let you know that it is possible to get into cybersecurity without experience. It's going to take a while, but it is definitely possible. So for most people, usually we'll think of the conventional way, which is to go from school and you come out with your diploma, bachelor's in cybersecurity or some form of tech, and then you will land yourself a security job. But personally for me, I didn't start up as a cybersecurity graduate. In fact, I actually came out from a finance degree, and then after that, after some odd jobs, I ended up where I am right now as informational analysis. I was hoping to share this experience of how I managed to get into this industry, and maybe you can use it as your own roadmap for yourself. So, just a little background on how I ended up with this is basically I took several entry-level jobs that weren't exactly related to cybersecurity, but there were security aspects to it. And then after that, I used that to build out myself to reach to where I am. Yeah. So, I started off with a job that was actually a device technician, and then eventually worked my way up to where I am right now. So I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 things that really got me to cybersecurity. So first thing, before you start with everything, is you're going to need to plan. Then after that, I'll tell you the 2 other things that really helped me push my direction towards security, which is to leverage our portfolio, leverage our experiences, our knowledge, and then to grow that and basically to feed off each other. So for the first point is to plan your goal. In cybersecurity, there are really a lot of different job roles available under that umbrella. All these different aspects have their own requirement. And the reason why I want to plan before you begin your road mapping, before you start pushing yourself into cybersecurity, is to know what these jobs require, because they determine what kind of certifications you're going to need down the line and what kind of aspects and specialities that you need to focus on. I'll give you an example. For instance, if you're going to go into informational security analysis, there you're going to be a bit more technical with the kind of information that you will have to specialize a bit more on governance, compliance, and policies, those that help manage information within an organization. The requirements is very different, say if you have an aim to go to network security. So in network security, you start to pursue different kind of specialities. For example, you start to focus on CCNA, and in CCNA there's the CCNP, which is the security aspects of networking that you need to focus on. And these requirements are very different from each other. So at the beginning, though, you don't have to seal yourself into that role. A rough guide of where you want to go will help you determine what kind of qualifications you're going to need to look into, and that will determine about which certifications as well value in each other. Yeah. So first thing first, figure out roughly where you want to go so that at least you have an aim to focus on which kind of certifications and qualifications and experience that you have. Next, it's to use the aspects of leveraging. So if, for instance, you're starting off with from a place where you have completely no IT related aspects in your job, first thing you're going to need to do is to get yourself inside the door into IT. Get yourself started with any tech related job aspects. Personally, for me, I started as a desktop engineer. So, because I had no cybersecurity or even IT related background, I needed to use this opportunity to get myself into that. So that's when I took the opportunity to focus on the security aspects of that job. As a device engineer, there were security aspects that I could leverage on to use it. Example, knowing how to manage use cases for how to defend or attacks within the desktop. Like your defender, knowing how to configure your defenders, knowing how to configure your desktop firewalls, right? So the idea is that when you get yourself focused on this, you build off your portfolio, right? And then when your time is ready, when you feel that you are ready to move to another job, when you're presenting yourself, you can use these security aspects to convince the next employer that, hey, this is the kind of security that I worked on today. In cases where you feel that the security portfolio that you've gained isn't enough, don't be shy to jump into another IT job to allow yourself greater opportunities to get more security experiences. And that job doesn't necessarily have to be in security as well. The idea is to keep gaining a portfolio of security experiences and grow until you manage to land into the job you want. This also leads to the next aspect that I need you to focus on, which is to grow that security portfolio that you have. So in whatever job that you're doing, once you're inside a technical job, take any opportunity you can to grab onto to do security jobs. Like for instance, if your job offers the need to create use cases to protect your environment, not necessarily a cybersecurity overall job, but it could be part of an engineering aspect that you need to deal with. Take the opportunity to do it because it builds your portfolio so that in the next jump into the next career, you can convince your employer, say, hey, I did this, I configured this infrastructure to handle this kind of security. I know how to deal with certain configurations that are really helpful for building the security. Next is, of course, the most important thing that you need to make is to build your qualifications. So this goes back to the first one where I said that you need to start planning, because where you feel like you're going to go determines what is considered relevant to you. Say, for instance, if you're a network engineer, a network security engineer, you'll be focusing on network certifications, right? You wouldn't be going for a CISSP, which is more for a managerial security aspects that handles compliance and governance. The other thing is that even though it's related, it's so important to ensure that it is industry recognized. So this is really important because I know it's very tempting to start loading yourself up with certifications from anyone and everywhere. But the thing is that your time is limited, right? And your resources is limited. You should be focusing on certifications that when people are looking into the job scope and when they see your resume, they go, okay, yes, this is what I want and this is how, where I should, this is the person that I want to go for. So how do you know if certification you want to go for is industry recognized? A good tip is that whenever you go through a job site, for instance, LinkedIn, look at the job description. You realize that certain certifications constantly come up in that job scope. These are the ones that you should really consider looking into, because that means that company recognizes that certification, and if you have it, they are going to look into you. Yeah. Next thing is that if you do have the time, you can consider going back to school and getting your bachelor's if you need to. Personal experience with mine is that if you actually to become an information analysis, I took a part-time university where that's where I got my bachelor's. So I studied and worked together and built off that experience and studied and get my bachelor's at the end of it. Next thing is that once you enter your IT industry, you're going to realize that the industry is quite small. People know people quite well. Take the opportunity to get to know these people. Network with them, get to know them, because these are opportunities for you to approach them in the future. Maybe when you want to move on to a different company, these are the people that might help you, refer you into the company, and these are the people that might open doors for you in the future. Grow yourself, grow your portfolio, grow your network. And the good thing is that when you grow, it feeds back to your experiences to leverage it to moving into a better cybersecurity job. Yeah. So I hope that these points are something that will add value to you. Just remember to always grow yourself, get yourself into the door, and be prepared to start an entry and build yourself up. And until the next video, I hope to see you again. Do drop any comments about your own experience of how you are going to go into cybersecurity, and consider liking and subscribing.